Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're immersing ourselves in a really fascinating and I think often misunderstood tradition, the Agora path. We're going to be digging into the spiritual and historical sources around its founder, Baba Keenaram Aghori.
Right.
And our source, I mean, they paint this picture of a saint who lived for, what, an almost unbelievable 168 years.
An incredible lifespan.
He achieved this state of divine recognition and founded a very unique sect of Shaivism, one that, deliberately confronts things like fear and death and social taboos, all to get to this ultimate liberation.
And that's really the core of it. We're not just tracing a life story. We're trying to unpack the spiritual geography here.
From his birth to Balochistan all the way to Kashi.
Exactly. And we also have to get into the role of the divine feminine Ma Hinglaj, who is just crucial to this entire tradition.
It's this amazing link between extreme spiritual practice and a really deep philosophy. Okay, let's unpack this, starting right at the beginning. I mean, a birth story so strange it basically screamed divine destiny from day one.
It really did.
The sources are pretty clear. Baba Keenaram is believed to be an incarnation of Lord Shiva himself.
That's the tradition.
But the detail that always arrests my attention is the silence.
The silence, yes.
Upon his birth, he didn't cry. And this went on, signaling that something was very, very different here.
And what's so fascinating is how that silence immediately creates this spiritual narrative around him. It felt like, a manifestation of Shiva's deep meditative state.
And it stayed that way until these 3 monks showed up.
Right. Wandering monks who are believed to have been manifestations of Shiva.
And their intervention, it was so specific, wasn't it? They didn't just bless him.
No, not at all. It was ritualistic. They whispered sacred mantras directly into his ear.
And it was that sound, that specific transmission, that finally broke the stillness.
Exactly. Only then, after hearing the mantra, did the infant finally cry. It's the symbolic moment of his true awakening.
And this isn't just some old story, is it? It's still marked on the spiritual calendar.
Absolutely. That moment, that awakening, is celebrated every year as the Lolark Shashti Festival. It's a reminder of how that divine voice kind of kicked off the whole path for the Aghori founder.
It really sets the stage for what comes next. He shows this pull towards a spiritual life so early.
Very early. He leaves home at around 11 years old.
Just to find a guide, a preceptor.
And that search leads him to Baba Kalaram. And this is where the journey gets very specific. It shifts from just general spiritual seeking to the challenging path of Aghora.
Kalaram is the one who awakens his inner Aghor consciousness.
That's what the sources say. He initiates him.
Okay, let's pause on that for a second. What does that actually mean, to awaken Aghor consciousness? I mean, it sounds intense.
It is intense. So Aghora literally means not terrible or non-fearful. But philosophically, it's the path of non-dualism. It rejects our usual categories.
Like pure and impure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So much of religion relies on separating the pure from the impure. Aghora says, no, that's an illusion. To awaken that consciousness is to realize that dirt, decay, even a dead body, it's all just another form of reality. Nothing to be feared, nothing to be rejected.
So he has this spiritual awakening, but then that realization sends him on this radical physical journey.
It's a huge journey.
All the way to the western edges of the subcontinent.
Right.
So let's get into that second part of his life. The core revelation that happens in Balochistan. He traveled all the way to the Ma Hinglaj Shaktipith.
In what is now Pakistan.
And a Shaktipith, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a place of immense power, isn't it?
Immense power. These are sites where parts of the goddess Sati's body are said to have fallen, so they're just saturated with divine feminine energy.
And when he gets there, he doesn't, find a nice quiet temple. He goes straight to a cremation ground.
The Smashandiya?
For intense penance. Why there? What is so important about that specific location?
Well, the location is everything. The cremation ground is. It's the final, undeniable truth of our material existence.
Right.
So by practicing there, an Aghori directly confronts the fear of death, which is really the root of all our other fears. If you can sit comfortably with that reality, all your other attachments they start to dissolve. It's the ultimate test.
And while he's there, something strange starts happening. This woman starts visiting him.
Bringing him food, yeah.
Which immediately tells you something is up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, given the taboos at the time, for an ordinary woman to be in a cremation ground regularly, it just wouldn't happen. And he recognized that.
So he challenges her. He doesn't just accept the food.
No, he refuses it and demands to know who she really is. He forces the issue.
And that's the moment.
That is the moment. The woman transforms and reveals herself as Ma Hinglage,
The goddess herself.
the goddess herself. And this is so fundamental because it's a divine validation of his path. The supreme feminine power is basically saying, yes, what you're doing is sanctioned.
And she doesn't just bless him, she gives him a promise, right? One that basically maps out the rest of his life.
Precisely. She tells him that she will come and reside at his place, his Krimkund, once he settles in Kashi, which is Varanasi.
So she's creating this direct spiritual link.
A conduit, exactly.
Yeah.
Connecting that ancient power and Balochistan directly to the new center he was about to create back in India.
And that brings us to Kashi, the holy city, where he then spends, the rest of this incredibly long life building the Aghori tradition. So Baba Keenaram settles in Varanasi, and he establishes what's known today as the Baba Keenaram Sal, or Krimkund.
Which is still the most significant site for his followers.
And he's recognized as the real originator, the codifier of the Aghori sect of Shaivism.
And it wasn't just about rituals. I mean, his work was intellectual, too.
The Vivekasar.
The Vivekasar, yes.
Yeah.
His text is seen as the most authentic, the most definitive book on the entire Aghori tradition. It gives it that philosophical foundation.
So what does it lay out? What's the core principle of the Vivekasar?
Well, it systematizes that rejection of the pure-impure idea we talked about. It argues really strongly against the caste system, against rigid rituals. The main idea is that real liberation comes from inner realization, from non-attachment.
So it provides the why behind the what.
Perfectly put. It gives you the philosophical rules for how to achieve that state by confronting everything society tells you to fear.
And we just can't gloss over his lifespan. The sources all say 168 years.
Astonishing.
I mean, that alone seems like proof of his mastery.
It speaks to the goal of these intense yogic practices, which is mastery over the physical body. To live that long, and then to choose to leave your body consciously through Jiva Samadhi.
A conscious departure.
Right. It shows a level of control that very few ever achieve. It's the final act of detachment.
Okay, and here's where it gets really, really interesting. Because we have this story that sort of demonstrates this power in action. It connects Baba Keenaram with another huge saint of Kashi, Sri Trilinga Swami.
A legendary figure.
Who visits him at Krimkund, and they sit and talk for hours.
And this interaction becomes this legendary test of spiritual power. It really highlights the confrontational nature of these traditions.
So Baba Keenaram offers him 5 pots of intoxicants.
The serious challenge.
Why that? Why are intoxicants the test?
It's a test of detachment. For a normal ascetic, taking that would be a huge violation of purity rules, right? You'd lose control.
Of course.
But for an Aghori who has gone beyond those dualities, those substances should have no power over you. The test isn't about the drinking. It's about whether your consciousness is so non-attached that the substance just doesn't affect you.
And Trilinga Swami accepts them all.
He does. But Keenaram is still testing him. He tells his followers, go with him, he'll probably collapse eventually.
That doesn't.
Not at all. The climax of the story is that Trilinga Swami just walks out completely unaffected. And then in this huge display of yogic power, this CD, he vanishes from Krimkund.
Vanishes.
And reappears instantly, miles away on the banks of the Ganges at Panchaganga Ghat.
Wow. That's a profound statement, isn't it? It validates not just Trilinga Swami, but Keenaram's path and the power of Krimkund itself.
It confirms that these are places of truly extraordinary spiritual achievement.
Okay, so let's shift focus now to the deity who really anchors this whole tradition, Ma Hinglage Devi.
Absolutely central.
Right.
I mean, as a Shaktipith deity, she is a form of Adi Shakti, the primordial feminine energy.
The power of the cosmos.
Right. And for the Aghoras, she's especially the guardian of that hidden esoteric knowledge and the power you need to go after it.
And because of that connection to Aghora, her image, her iconography is, well, it's often very far from the gentle mother goddess form. It's fierce.
Very fierce. In her Aghora form, she's often linked directly with Kali, the goddess of destruction, because destruction isn't necessary for creation, for liberation.
So she's depicted as black in a wrathful form.
Yes. And that intensity is not just for show. It serves a purpose.
Okay, so let's break down that symbolism for you, the listener. What does all that intense imagery communicate?
Every single element is a philosophical statement. Yeah. Her black color, for example, it symbolizes the unmanifested reality Nirguna Brahman that is beyond all color and form.
And she's famously depicted standing on a corpse.
Yes, and that is maybe the most profound symbol for the Aghori. Standing on a corpse, which is sometimes seen as Shiva or sometimes as the devotee's own dead ego, it signifies her total mastery over death and the material world.
She transcends physical reality.
Effortlessly. She's teaching the devotee that the body, death, these are illusions you have to overcome.
And all the other things she's surrounded with, the flames, the snakes.
They just reinforce that cosmic power. The flames are her power to burn away your attachments. The snakes represent time, rebirth, all things she commands. She is that fierce, necessary energy you need to destroy your own ignorance and ego.
So what does this all mean for Baba Keenaram's legacy? You have this unique fusion of intense discipline confronting fear, all backed by this immense cosmic power, which then results in a tradition that is also about wisdom and serving people.
It's a powerful combination.
So we've covered a huge amount of ground today. We've traced the life of a saint who lived 168 years, who was initiated by Ma Hinglaj herself in a cremation ground in Balochistan, and who then codified this entire philosophy in the Vivek at his headquarters in Kashi.
And if you just tie it all back together, the story of Ma Hinglaj appearing specifically in the Smashana, that's the ultimate lesson.
Right.
The Aghori path is defined by challenging those social norms. Fear of death, fear of contamination, because you can't be liberated until the ego, which is built on all those fears, is just completely gone.
Which, it leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to consider. Given that the Aghori path demands such extreme practices, such a direct confrontation with what we're taught to fear, what is the equivalent challenge or taboo in your own life that, if you confronted it directly, might lead you to some hidden knowledge or maybe a profound new liberation?